Okay, you guys should be good to go.
Thank you. Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Sarah Shearer. I'm the president of the Albany Public Library Board of Trustees and the chair of this executive committee. I call this meeting to order. Is there any public comment for the committee?
One sec. So there is no public comment. We do accept public comment via email or by phone. Email address is publiccomment@albanypubliclibrary.org, publiccomment@albanypubliclibrary.org, or the phone number 518-290-6905. Once again, that is 518-290-6905. We accept public comment is given at the beginning of all meetings and also at the end of the general meeting monthly. So if you have any public comments, you're welcome to submit both of those ways. We do ask that you state your name and your address as a City of Albany resident. Thank you.
Thanks, Melanie. Do you mind sharing? So the one item of business we have tonight is reviewing the board clerk job posting. So this is slightly different from the board clerk job description that we approved and we had the rest of the board approve at our last meeting. A posting is what actually goes up online, alerting people to the actual job opening. It does contain the job description in it, but also some additional information that people may want to know when they're looking through job postings. So I think we just have a couple decisions to make regarding this, and then I think we're ready to get it posted. So thank you, Melanie, for being able to go in and update this. I was not able to get to it. So what we did was we took the job posting from the board treasurer when that position was posted, and Melanie has retrofitted it for the board clerk, turned it into a board clerk job posting.
So the biggest thing that we have to look at, because this is all based off of the job description that was already approved. So essentially it's under the expectations. The time spent in fulfillment of the board clerk duty is not expected to exceed, if you guys want to put something there, a set number of hours in any given month. And then in general work as the libraries, and I got to change that to clerk. Sorry about that. Will take place in the library. I'm not sure if that's necessary. A lot of the coordination could potentially be done as work from home via email and phone calls. It would just be attendance at the board meetings. And I did add under specific duties, it had said attends all meetings of the board, including committee meetings, and records draft meeting minutes through use of board docs. And I added the many meetings are held in the evening, so the person knows.
Thank you, that's helpful. So I'm looking under expectations, like what you said. Time spent in the fulfillment of the board clerk duties is not expected to exceed, and then we should probably put a number of hours in any given month. I would probably say 20 hours in any week, because it's not to exceed. So maybe it's 15, maybe it's, I don't know. That was the number in my head. If anybody else wants to weigh in on that.
I think 20, not to exceed 20 a week certainly works if that's part-time. That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you think that's reasonable, Melanie? Like, do you think Rebekah was spending almost that much time?
She was definitely
Okay.
spending up to 20 hours a week with between scheduling meetings, running the meetings, the committee meetings, the board docs, agenda preparation, all of that. And minutes, handling the minutes. It could potentially, there were some weeks that obviously it was less, but some weeks it did go up to that 20.
Yeah, and that's where I always get unsure of what to put in this because we're saying not to exceed 20. Does that give someone an idea that it'll be 20 every week? I mean, I'm not sure how else to phrase that unless we give a range, range of 10 to 20 per week normally, or
What if we just say that the work will vary but will not exceed 20? Because like a board meeting could be 3 hours, and then that week is probably going to be heavy.
that makes sense. Time spent in the fulfillment of the board clerk duties varies, but is not expected to exceed 20 hours in any week.
I think that's good. Because that will tell, like what that would indicate to me as an applicant is this is something I could do as a side hustle, or this is something I could do because my child isn't like it needs me after school, but it won't be full time.
I would recommend, since this is a part-time position, to have a upper limit that it will not exceed, because if something, if we had a very busy week and the person was like, oh, well, I spent 35 hours this week, we're
not budgeted.
Well,
Yeah.
we're not budgeted, and by law, we have to provide health care.
Right, so they exceed 20 works well.
So not to exceed 20. Will vary per week, but will not exceed 20 hours per week.
Exactly.
And then in terms of the next line, in terms of where the work will take place, I liked what you said, Melanie. I think conceptually, most of the work can be done from home except for meetings when we come back in person.
So
If the person wanted to be physically at the library, is that a possibility?
Yes.
Okay.
And we would most likely supply a laptop computer, like a Chromebook computer, for the person.
Should we say that? Like, no, we don't need to say that.
No.
When they interview, we can say that.
Yeah.
That also does push us into the more employee versus independent contractor. So I'd probably run that by Bob.
Okay.
It's one of the distinguishing features.
Okay.
I also agree. And also, when it comes to being able to work from home or actually in the library, making sure folks are aware that that will be also at the discretion of their supervisor.
You guys are the supervisor, so.
I'm sorry?
You guys are the supervisor.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that in some cases, some folks who may work from home or may be more productive in a different environment, sometimes the manager steps in and says, okay, I've been giving you X amount of time to perform your duties at home. It's not working out. So therefore, I would like you to come into the office or whatever case may be. We had 3 cases like that last week. So I was just bringing that to the table as well.
So we could potentially leave it as in general work as a library's board clerk will take place in the library. And then that could be a conversation, because it says in general, so the possibility to do some work from home.
Right, right.
No, I would leave it, because I want to make the point that we, the supervisors of this person, are not physically there in the library.
Right.
So I don't want to make it a burden on the administrative staff to supervise a person who does not report to them.
I would be interested in saying that it's a mix. work as the library's board clerk has the potential to be done both at home and, well, no, not because again, we need them there for the meetings physically.
Is it, we can just say some duties may be performed remotely and others will require
Attendance. Yeah.
in-person attendance.
Nice and simple. That sounds good, Tom.
So please reword that for me again so I can.
Some duties may be performed remotely, but others will require in-person attendance.
Nice and vague.
I think by looking at the duties, though, hopefully they can figure out, oh, I can probably do this, this, and this remote, but it says attends meetings. That's probably what I have to. I think it makes sense.
Okay.
And before we go to the next highlighted section, I wanted to talk about the qualifications a little bit. These qualifications were kind of designed for a treasurer, and I don't know if we need to require a bachelor's.
Oh yeah, no, we don't.
Yeah,
It's
we don't.
it's not required. I know it's not required, but it's kind of, it's bachelor or equivalent, basically.
But it does say graduation from high school or possession of and full-time
Okay, yeah.
full-time paid work experience or its part-time equivalency in an office environment. So we want somebody to have office skills and not just. Because don't forget, these were the qualifications you agreed upon in the job description that you approved.
Oh yeah, so we kind of have to.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Sarah, I'm always disappointed when I can hear but not see your dogs.
Oh, those were not mine.
Okay.
Ours make little yips.
I have the big dog and he refuses to be on camera. Like no matter how many times I try to get him to be on camera, he refuses.
He won't do it.
No. But he's a lab pit bull mix.
Oh, I technically also, well, husky pip mix,
Oh,
sort
okay.
of.
So the work schedule will say varies, but will not exceed 20 hours per week. And I'll still keep may vary based on time of year because obviously like January, February, March, they tend to be a lot more meetings because nominating meets a lot, finance meets a lot. In the summertime, we don't meet as much and stuff.
So you're saying instead of 10 to 20 hours, you're just going to copy the language from above,
Yeah.
varies, but not to exceed. Okay, not to exceed 20.
But I will keep the may vary based on time of year.
That makes sense.
And then for the anticipated remuneration, we're basing it off of the previous, or potentially looking at what the administrative assistant had made. And she was making, I believe I said it was 1952.
Something like that.
Let me just confirm that.
If not, then it was very, very close to
was
that. It was
close.
19 dot something.
Yeah.
Do we think that is a competitive salary in the current market?
Yeah, I was thinking of 20 to 25.
You can make like $24 an hour at Target right now.
Yeah.
It's difficult though, because don't forget our librarians currently make 25.
That is a
Oh, yeah.
very, yeah,
Careful with that.
you're right.
Yeah, they certainly can't be in the same realm as the librarians.
No.
Yeah. I think we should just say $20 then.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
So just a flat $20? Okay.
I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
It says anticipated anyway, so
Okay.
and then I just want to flag, I'm sure you're on it, but it says deadline September 12th and it's not highlighted. But
Yep, thank you.
that will change too.
So when would you like the deadline to be?
How soon?
When would you like the
Oops.
deadline to be?
Well, working backwards, our April board meeting is Tuesday, April 12th. So if we wanted to bring a recommendation to the board, then I would say the latest that we would be interviewing people would be the prior week, sometime between Monday, April 4th and Friday, April 8th. Interview, reach out to the person and, well, no, I guess interview. Would we have to reach out to the person? No, I'm sorry, I'm confusing myself here. Interview, make a recommendation. The board would make the appointment, and then we would notify the candidate. So I guess all we would have to do the week prior to the meeting is conduct interviews and meet as a committee to make our recommendation.
Can
So
the board make an appointment before the candidate is notified? Because doesn't the candidate have to be there to be appointed?
yeah, that's what I was just going back and forth about. Um,
But that doesn't matter for this purpose.
Yeah, you're right. For the purposes of this
Yeah.
evening.
I honestly, I think that's a pretty tight timeline. Like I'll say when we did the treasurer, I did get candidates submitting early in the period and late in the period. So a short period might cause some people to not ever see the posting who would have applied.
I plan to advertise hard.
I agree, Tom, that you make a great point with that.
so we would be leaning toward making the appointment at the May 10th board meeting.
Are we okay with that? I mean, I think there's a good chance that we might not get a candidate we like on the short time period, and we might end up at May anyway.
I hear you, because I was also involved in the treasurer selection, and I know sometimes it takes a while for the right people to see the posting. So I do understand what you're saying, especially if we want to, I know we're at the end of this fiscal year and our new fiscal year starts July 1st, but ideally, this isn't just finding a candidate to serve a month or two. Ideally, this is finding our next long-term candidate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we can always extend it if we find that we don't have a good pool, which is, I believe, what we did with the treasurer.
Yeah, maybe we could do that. We could
Yeah,
I don't know, that maybe Bob would have to ask, but could we set a deadline on the April timeline, and then if we don't like what we see, just go longer?
I've seen it posted before.
I think we
sorry.
should go over and go set the time initially how we would like the extension to be, and stick with May for the appointment.
Can we say that interviews will be conducted on a rolling basis, or is that too much on our end?
Yeah, that's too much, I think. rolling basis, I think, is a lot of work. If we just get our time correct and move out from there. But then we can get our candidates, get the date and do the interviews and do what we have to do and move the process along.
Um, I would be, I would be okay with rolling actually, because we can just do one set of interviews before the April meeting. And if we find someone we like, we can go for it. And if we don't, we can just keep going. Or is your concern, Brenda, that
Because if you want to expand the time to make sure
Yeah.
that everyone has the opportunity to see it, you double talking on, I mean, I agree
Yeah.
with your first comments as far as making sure people get the opportunity to see it. So if we did agree on that part, then that means extend it out some so people can get the opportunity.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Let's just go with May.
Yeah. It's only one more month.
And honestly, I'm looking at my schedule and I don't know when I'm going to be able to meet in April. So like, let's just go with May.
Okay.
I do hear what you're saying, Sarah.
I mean, it's, I see it both ways. Yeah. So in terms of writing a deadline on this posting, if it's a May 10th full board meeting that we want to make a recommendation to, do we want to do interviews that first week of May, or would we be trying earlier for like the last week in April? Would it matter?
I think it wouldn't matter. Like I think later is better, closer to the
Okay.
meeting.
So just putting it out there, spring break week is the 18th through the 22nd. So you do have families that are going to be out. So I would say if you're looking for the route you're going for, I would say have the deadline be the 22nd. And then that gives you the week of the 25th through the 6th, through May 6th, 2 weeks to do interviews. It gives you guys a little bit more of a cushion. So you're not packing them all into 1 week if you have a lot of applicants.
I will also be away for part of that week. So,
And I'm
Which
away,
week, Tina?
I'm away the week of the 24th.
That's right.
but
So-
I can bring a laptop and interview remotely.
So that would just mean your interviews would be the week of the 2nd through the 6th, if that's the case. And then we could have applications due on the 29th.
Yeah. Why don't we? Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Or do you still want
Let's-
them on the 22nd, and then it gives you a week to review them?
Exactly, because if somebody submits on the 29th, then we would have to turn around, contact them and set something and schedule. So I think we do need a cushion between the deadline and interviews, just so we have that time to do that.
We also don't necessarily need to set when we're doing interviews right now.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm just saying I wouldn't push the deadline to like the day before, the
Yeah.
week of interviews, because I don't think it's enough of a cushion.
Yeah.
I agree, Sarah.
But I'm good with Friday, April 22nd as the deadline. Then it gives us 2 weeks to turn around, contact everyone and schedule.
Okay.
Okay. And I can probably get this posted by Friday.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, and that was the other thing I wanted to discuss. Places to post. I was wondering, is this something that library students would be interested in? I know it's not a fellowship but it's kind of an inside look at administration.
Okay.
I was thinking library students and even law students. I mean, it's probably a long shot, but I think it's a really good inside view on government and library administration.
I could see it being posted on the CDLC listserv. I don't think it would be good for library students personally. Unless they're looking to go into being specifically a public library director, which is like, it's just, I could see it being really good for someone who is currently like working in a public library part-time and is interested in learning more about governance and building their resume. But the students are going to have a lot of night classes.
Okay. Gotcha.
That doesn't preclude it. But
And that was actually what made me think of students in the first place, because Becky was saying, you know, she misses a lot of dinners with family and stuff like that. So I was trying to think of a population that might not necessarily have that. And I'm like, oh, students. Like when I was a professional grad student, you know, I didn't have a family. It wasn't, you know, it didn't have the same schedule hindrances. So I'm just trying to figure out populations that, you know, may work well with this type of schedule, because it is sometimes a difficult schedule. So if anyone has creative ideas.
I mean, we'll definitely, because it's a library position, so we'll definitely post it like our normal positions to you on our website, which once it's on our website, we can always, you know, share amongst any social networks, you know, Twitter, all of our social networks, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. It will go up on the CDLC and the Nyline because they're job related. So those students who, potential library students would be interested, could see that because they generally follow those anyway. I also, my caveat with them is a lot of the students don't necessarily live here in the region. They go home, so you would be missing them during breaks.
Well, and there is like an undergraduate library science degree that I like, that could be, but I almost like, I don't actually want to define what I want. Because that's not the way that this works. But
Nope.
And obviously, I don't think, you know, one of the things that we always say is sometimes library students aren't necessarily the best fit for some of our positions because we are looking for varied skill sets. And so I would definitely want to not limit it to any of those by any means.
Oh, no, not limiting. Like
Yeah.
I said, I was just thinking students for potential nighttime availability, but not if, like what Jenna said, if they have nighttime classes. In law school, we mostly have daytime classes.
Library school a lot of times is like, these days, there's a lot of fully online classes, a lot of classes in the evening. They try to make it accessible for people who might be paraprofessionals who are then going to become librarians. It's like different. I was one of not a lot of people who were coming fairly recently from college into library school.
I was the only one in my
program
that way.
The weirdos who knew we wanted to be librarians.
I was considered the class pet.
Yeah.
Like this. Oh, you cute little thing.
So we'll put it out there and see what we get. And I'll try to think of places that I might be connected to that would have people looking for this kind of work. But yeah, I think we will get some people. I don't know if you remember, Melanie, but we did the treasurer posting twice. And the first time we really didn't get anybody. And the second time we got a whole bunch of people. And I just want to make sure we do it, whatever we did the second time, like the way we posted it was different, I remember, and I don't know exactly why.
This is the way we posted. So with the treasurer, the first time we posted it as an RFP. And we weren't really getting individuals who wanted to submit proposals for that type of position. So then we converted it to an announcement like this job posting, where it looks more like employment, but we're saying independent contractor. It's just a friendlier way of posting where it's more easily readable for people.
Okay.
So this is what works the second time around.
Cool.
I was just going to ask, in terms of drafting, Melanie, I see the AAEO line on the top of the third page.
Yeah, I
I
think
just
that was,
want to either make sure that came up, or did I also see that same line somewhere earlier in the document?
it later on, it copied it onto a second, so when it reformatted it into the PDF, it must have split those. There was some weird formatting issues that I had, but I can easily, that will obviously be brought up and
And it's not somewhere in the middle, right?
It
I'm
it
just
actually it actually
remembering.
it actually is in the middle, and I think it's not
Yeah, there
supposed
it
to be
is.
there.
I thought I saw it. Yeah.
At the top of page 2.
yeah, I think it was put as a header because I couldn't play with
Okay.
it.
Oh,
And I think that's what happened is it in the document I was looking at, it was added as a header starting on the second page. And that's why it was added to 2 more pages.
got it. Got it.
So do we need to approve this, or did we do that last time?
Yeah, I don't mind doing approving it as a committee, just so we can get that. Melanie, what is the deal with board docs, recording? How are we doing committee meetings now?
So right now we are just posting the agendas on board docs. We're not active utilizing it for voting purposes at the time being, just because I don't have full control over that yet. It's super user. I haven't been given that permission yet. We have a ticket into the board docs team. They just haven't done that. And so for the time being, we're just for committee meetings, we're just doing it by voice vote, and we'll add it to the minutes later.
Okay, I guess my more specific question was who's taking minutes? Did you want the committee chairs to take minutes, or?
The committee chair or anybody else? I know for the last one, Donna offered to take the minutes for nominating. So she was going to do that if anybody wants to. If nobody wants to, I've been taking minutes, so I can do that. It is very helpful, though, to have board members take the minutes. I will be completely honest.
Yeah. Is there like a minutes template that we could send to the full board, like just copy and paste?
Essentially what it is just looking at the agenda and typing it. So you have call to order. The meeting
Yeah.
was called to order at 6:04 with all members present. Public comment, there was no public comment. You just literally, that's your template is the agenda.
I can find my old ones. I just switched laptops, so it's on my old one. But I used to take committee minutes, so I have a format somewhere where I have like the heading in bold, Albany Public Library committee meeting, date, time. So I do have that, just not on this laptop. But I'll take a motion to approve the board clerk job posting.
I make a motion to approve the board clerk job posting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Second, or Tom seconds.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I do not think we have any other business. Just checking my notes. Nope, I don't think we have any other business as a committee. If somebody would like to make a motion to adjourn. Jenna? Is there a second?
A second.
Brenda, thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
And folks who are in person